For 6,000 years, when you got tired, you had to sit down and rest, lay down and sleep, and if you were totally out of energy, you had to eat some food. But science being what it is, a new method of getting energy has been developed called the energy drink. In a small aluminum can containing a lot of caffeine and sugar. You can get some stimulants which will make you think that you're not tired, even if your body is tired, and will make you think that you can keep on going for your entire basketball game or video gaming marathon. You're tired physically, but owing to the stimulants, you keep on going, and sometimes when the reserve runs dry, people fall over dead as a result of their energy drink consumption, which is marketed as providing mental and physical stimulation. Marketed as energy, but distinct from food energy. Sure, they tell you that they're giving you energy in their marketing campaign, but it just isn't the same thing as food energy, as we'll see in the course of this lecture. The youth are more tired today than ever before, so they like these energy drinks, which are widely promoted as products that increase energy and enhance mental alertness and physical performance. Next to multivitamins, energy drinks are the most popular dietary supplement consumed by American teens and young adults. Men between the ages of 18 and 34 years consume the most energy drinks, and almost 1/3 of teens between 12 and 17 years drink them regularly. The market is huge. The youth market is huge, but the energy drinks only provide stimulation for a while, and then people need more energy drinks, which is why they say they consume them regularly. An Institute of Medicine report released in February 2015 estimates that anywhere from 836,000 and 2.5 million Americans have chronic fatigue syndrome. The report doesn't indicate how many of those are children or teenagers, but a new study that appears in the journal Pediatrics attempts to quantify that number. An analysis by researchers from the University of Bristol in the United Kingdom suggests that 2% of 16-year-olds have chronic fatigue syndrome lasting more than 6 months, and nearly 3% have the condition lasting at least 3 months. Out of the 5,756 teenagers studied, researchers found that girls were almost twice as likely as boys to have the condition. Millions of people are all worn down. They feel so tired. And if they get an energy drink, even if it's just for a few hours, they feel on top of the world again. Interestingly, there are many more girls than boys that experience this chronic fatigue syndrome. And no wonder a brutal cheerleading workout with a sadistic coach can leave a girl exhausted.
You stay there. I'm trying. Oh, you're not? You finished? No, yes, I am. Ow, give me your hand. Come on. Sweetie. You gotta see what mine is.
Sweet, good. You're doing good.
No.
You're just gonna make it worse.
Stop me. You go, relax.
I can't push it off.
Relax.
I can't. The
You're
hell.
not listening. Relax. Keep relaxed.
In the heart, this response prompts norepinephrine, also called noradrenaline, and a related neurotransmitter epinephrine, to increase the rate and force of the muscle's contractions. Although the two act in concert, norepinephrine is released by sympathetic nerves near the pacemaker tissue of the heart, whereas epinephrine is released primarily by the adrenal glands. These chemical messages lead to fight or flight behavior. During stressful or emergency conditions, they raise the rate and force of the heart, thereby increasing the blood pressure and delivering more oxygen to the brain and other tissues. Even when you're really tired, the body has some reserves available for a crisis. And the response to a crisis is stimulated when a person consumes an energy drink. That is, he has the rush, the feeling that he's ready to do big things, even though his body is otherwise exhausted, which can overstress young hearts. The parents of a 14-year-old Maryland girl who died in December are suing the maker of Monster Energy Drink, claiming caffeine in the product contributed to her death. Anais Fournier of Hagerstown, Maryland, went into cardiac arrest after drinking two 24-ounce Monster Beverage Corp drinks within a 24-hour period. An autopsy found that Fournier died of cardiac arrhythmia due to caffeine toxicity that impeded her heart's ability to pump blood. These are big drinks, considering that 8 ounces is 1 cup, and drinking not just 3 cups of energy drink, but 6 cups in a 24-hour period is enough to jolt the young heart with a lot of caffeine, and in this case it led to the death of this young girl. New research shows that drinking one 16-ounce energy drink can increase blood pressure and stress hormone responses significantly. In previous research, we found that energy drink consumption increased blood pressure in healthy young adults. Says Anna Svatikova, MD, PhD, and Mayo Clinic cardiology fellow, and the first author. We now show that the increases in blood pressure are accompanied by increases in norepinephrine, a stress hormone chemical, and this could predispose an increased risk of cardiac events even in healthy people. Yes, Mayo Clinic says drinking even one 16-ounce energy drink dose can significantly increase stress hormone activation. It can cause unfortunate cardiac events, like death from arrhythmia. In 2013, a California mom sued Monster after her 19-year-old son Alex Morris died from cardiac arrhythmia. Paula Morris alleged Alex consumed 2 cans of the energy drink every day for 3 years, including the day he died. These adverse cardiac events are not a rarity. The energy drinks can cause death, as they did in the case of a man who was consuming them every day for 3 years. 2 drinks a day, including the day that he died from cardiac arrhythmia. In addition to the blood pressure increase in study volunteers, their norepinephrine levels increased by almost 74% after energy drink consumption, compared with a 31% increase after the placebo drink. Systolic blood pressure increased after energy drink consumption as well. Yes, Mayo Clinic researchers have specified the increase in blood pressure and the increase in stress hormone levels after energy drink consumption. And when people get so stressed, in the Clinician's Handbook for Diagnosing Mental Disorders, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, known as the DSM-4TR, caffeine-related disorders are classified under the rubric of substance-related disorders. DSM-4TR specifies 4 caffeine-related disorders: caffeine intoxication, caffeine-induced anxiety disorder, caffeine-induced sleep disorder, and caffeine-related disorder not otherwise specified. You drink a lot of caffeine products, it's easy to become really anxious. So anxious that it interferes with your normal psychological function. A mental disorder, also called a mental illness or psychiatric disorder, is a behavioral or mental pattern that causes significant distress or impairment of personal functioning. They used to call this insanity. Nowadays it's a mental illness, but whatever the name is, it's bad. Robert Grimm was driving to work when the nausea set in. As his vision blurred, the Arizona resident pulled over to the side of the road and called in sick. His symptoms only worsened at home, he said. The 20-something rushed to the emergency room that day in December 2014 and would soon learn he had stage 4 kidney disease, court papers charge. Grimm claimed he downed a can of Monster Energy before leaving the house, just as he'd always done for the last 10 years. Until his diagnosis, Grimm guzzled 4 of the energy drinks a day, or the caffeine jolt equivalent of 18 12-ounce cans of Coca-Cola, according to a new lawsuit filed against the beverage maker. Now he's on dialysis and awaiting a kidney transplant. 4 monsters a day after day, for 10 years, and he spoiled his kidneys. The big thing about energy drinks is they have a ton of caffeine. If you're not used to caffeine, you'll get a massive rush. You'll notice it. You may even experience caffeine intoxication. The government supports a ban on the sale of energy drinks. The main reason for the ban is the high level of caffeine in the drinks, which has been linked to a string of health problems for children, including head and stomach aches, hyperactivity, depression, and sleep problems, as well as poor performance, concentration, and behavior in schools. They feel like they're more alert. They feel on top of things, but their concentration is poor. Their performance in school is poor. They have physical ailments. They're a little bit hyper. But then comes the crash. Energy drinks have 3 times the caffeine of a cola drink. They also contain high amounts of sugar or artificial sweeteners for the diet versions. The sugar combined with the caffeine gives you an instant energy boost that can last for an hour or 2. However, once the effect wears off, your tendency is to take more, which can cause you to have an energy drink crash. When the body is exhausted and you need plenty of rest and good food, oftentimes when you take the drink, you feel better for a little while, like with any other drug. But then, when the drug wears off, you're back where you were before you had it, maybe even a little worse off. But a lot of people just take another energy drink, and so the global energy drinks market was valued at $43 billion in 2016. Almost 60% of the male and 40% of female population in the US is addicted to these beverages. 43 billion reasons why energy drinks continue to be marketed even though they're dangerous for children. And now, about half of the Americans are addicted. Mind you, there are some drawbacks when you get too much caffeine, like trouble breathing, vomiting, hallucinations, confusion, chest pain, irregular or fast heartbeat, uncontrollable muscle movements, and convulsions. Hallucinations, confusion, the sort of thing that often goes with insanity. Plus, of course, the trouble breathing. And after you've had your energy drink, if you happen to be playing a active, violent sport, need to spend a lot of energy, you could just fall over dead. Ross Cooney, 18, died of sudden adult death syndrome hours after drinking Red Bull. Mr. Cooney from Limerick collapsed and died during a basketball match in Dublin last November. 2 of his friends said the first-year Limerick University business student shared up to 3 cans of the energy drink, which contains caffeine, before the match. Running up and down the court as fast as he could, had some trouble breathing, fell down, but at least he had plenty of energy drink beforehand. But all these deaths were preventable if these people had studied the 8th commandment carefully, thou shalt not steal, instead of stealing hours of rest and health-promoting nutrition from their own bodies, day after day. They could still be alive today. So are the manufacturers or the shopkeepers at fault. They put out these energy drinks and make sure that plenty of children can get a hold of them. Of course they're not at fault. Parents, and of course the drinkers themselves, are. They have a choice. And their choice would be much better informed if the 8th commandment was carefully and regularly taught and practiced.